Hey y'all, so today we're going to learn how to identify mullein in the wild. I know I've showed you guys how you can utilize it medicinally, internally, and how it can be used topically. So today is how we identify it, how it looks. Once you learn how to identify it, you'll never forget it. You'll be able to see it all over and everywhere you go because it is very invasive and it grows in the wild. So stick around. This is kind of what they refer to as like the rosette stage, when it's just in its first year of growth. As you can see, it's very small. I'll show you a bigger one that's in the rosette stage as well. And in fact, there goes another mullein plant hiding underneath all that chickweed. I don't really harvest it when it's this small in this stage. I just kind of let it do its own thing. This is a bigger one that's in the rosette stage. I definitely will be harvesting some of these. I don't harvest a lot, just maybe about 2 leaves because I don't want to disturb the plant too much. But as you can see, I'll just take from like the outskirts of this area, not necessarily in the middle here. So I'll probably take this one, and this one. Looks like somebody bit a chunk out of it. I'm gonna pick off a leaf here from one of my mullein plants in my yard so you can kind of see it up close and personal and see what it looks like. Okay, so this is it. As you can see, it's like very fuzzy, has a lot of fuzzy little hairs on it. So this is kind of what it looks like. It's a very like deep light greenish color. So this is what it looks like. You can use this same leaf and you can just like break pieces of this off. Make sure you, of course, dust it off, get anything off it that doesn't need to be on there. But you could use this leaf, take it in your house. You could do something like make a poultice. Mullein is also, and I apologize about the wind, it's very windy here today. Mullein is very great for inflammation as well. I know on my last video that I talked about it, so if you haven't seen that, go back and watch it. I talked about how you can utilize mullein internally for all things related to like your lungs and the upper respiratory system. But you can also use this in like a foot soak, or like when you're soaking in the bath with some Epsom salt. You know, if you've had like a long hard day at work, your feet are a little swollen or your back is hurting, mullein to the rescue for inflammation. There's lots of history and things out there about how this leaf was used by midwives specifically for inflammation when women would get towards the end of their pregnancy and their feet would start to swell. So you could literally just take this leaf in the house, use it as tea, like I said, a poultice. You could even like hang it up to dry and let it dry out. Put it in some oil. My oil of choice is like olive oil. You can make like a mullein oil out of it so that you can make a salve. One day I might do a video on how to make a salve as well. So this is kind of how it looks. This is another mullein plant here. Unfortunately, we've had a lot of rain and heavy winds, so it's a little wilted and it fell down. But I just kind of wanted to show you what it looked like and to also show you the yellow flowers that it gets on the top here. So a lot of people use those yellow flowers to make the mullein ear ache or ear oil. I don't necessarily use the flowers. I just use the leaves and garlic. But you are more than welcome to use those yellow flowers. They are still something that can be used medicinally. I also wanted to show you a mullein plant that has gone to seed and what it looks like. So these seed pods are still closed, but they're filled with tiny small seeds. And although you cannot use it medicinally, except for the roots, there are other ways in which you can utilize the plant. This is a mullein stalk that I had left over in my apothecary, and I wanted to show you how small the seeds were. So those pods are opened, and when you shake them, these are the seeds that come out of it. So when it goes to seed, they blow everywhere. This is just a picture of what the stalk looks like up close and personal once those pockets or those seed pods have opened up. So this is how the seeds are able to be filtered out and just blown everywhere to create more mullein plants. These are just some more leftover mullein seeds that I had from a previous stock that was left over. I just wanted to show you how tiny these seeds are, because once those seed pods open up and they just get blown from the wind, that's how more mullein plants are created. All you literally need is just one mullein plant, and you'll always have mullein on your property or in your garden. These seeds get blown everywhere, and they can get blown very far as well. So you could be walking down the road one day and you could notice a mullein plant, and that could be from one of your seed pods that have blown these seeds far away. And I never had to actually plant any seeds. My aunt actually gave me a mullein plant. I planted one in my yard probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And ever since then, mullein just grows in my yard. So sometimes I have like 10 at a time. Like right now, there are several of them that have gone to seed, and just as several of them have gone to seed, I have found about like 8 more that are in the beginning stages. And those stalks that I showed you guys that have those little seed pods on those, you can also use those stalks as well. I think a lot of people tend to forget about that. So like historically, before candles, or before everyone learned how to make candles, they used those mullein stalks. They would dip them in hot beeswax, you let them dry, and then they would light them and just use those as candles. So that you can use those stalks. Of course, I would recommend to get as much seeds out of it before you actually go through that process, because those seeds can be useful. You can resell the seeds to people on places like Etsy and stuff like that, but you can reuse those stalks for that. And also, like I said, the roots of the mullein. A lot of people use the roots of mullein as well once they just pull it up out of the ground, just to try to maintain the roots. Sometimes I think you can like order a tool from off of Amazon, because sometimes if you just kind of rip it up and pull it out, it'll rip some of the roots off. But a lot of people, like, they tincture the roots. They use that as medicine. I have never actually done that or explored the plant in that way. But if you have, feel free to comment with, any suggestions or how you have used it in that way. But that's what the stalks can be used for. So as you can see, mullein is one of our favorites. It's been our saving grace in our family. So we've used it as a tea, a tincture, an infusion for ear aches, ear infections. It is a powerhouse for ear infections. Literally a couple of drops in the ear and it's cleared up within 24 hours. We've also used it topically as well. I have used it just for like pain or inflammation in the feet, like in a regular foot soak. But if you need instructions or you want to learn how to make a mullein infusion or a mullein tincture, go back and rewatch my first video, which is how to make a mullein tincture. And then also go back and rewatch my second video, which is how to make a nettle infusion. You can use those same instructions on how to make a mullein infusion as well. That way, if you don't really want to have to make, or you don't want to make like a tea all the time, or someone not feeling well, you can use a quart jar and make a mullein infusion. It'll last up to 3 days in the refrigerator, so you don't have to keep making it every day. So go back and rewatch those 2 videos and follow me on social. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and also check out my offerings on my website, which is fourseasonsapothecary.com, as well as my digital offerings too. I hope y'all enjoy, and I'll see y'all on the next video.